One day while on a day trip, Sandra and I was visiting the Bunker Hill covered bridge in Catawba County. We noticed a peculiar looking symbol with a sign that read Carolina Thread Trail just underneath it. Now, being an avid hiker, I looked into it and learned that it was a regional network of connected greenways, trailways, and blueways that reaches 15 counties in 2 states, and that it was still growing with new trails being added. I had always wanted Sandra to hike with me and thought that this may be just the thing, so after looking at the website, we both set out to complete every single thread trail. So grab your gear and come along with us as we set out to hike or paddle every thread trail and learn with us about the history, the geology, and people of these areas. I'm sure there will never be a dull moment.
God, look at this. I thought there was a rock behind me.
Looks like this might be bear tracks. This Carolina Thread Trail connects the 2 parks for the enjoyment of dog walkers, children searching for bugs, and runners. The Centennial Nature Trail follows a small creek that eventually leads to East Bank Street. Granite Lake Park opened in June 2007 and consists of paved walking trails, a shelter with bathrooms, a playground area, a lake covering an acre with 2 piers, fish, and the Granite Lake ducks. Now, at some point in time, it's been years and years ago, this used to be a swimming hole, and so I think it was just Granite Lake is just what they called it. And for the most part, it was just a big hole in the ground. It filled with water at one point in time, and people just swam in it. Probably not as hygienic as it should be, but then they just got to where nobody was using it, and then they ended up making it to this park. Now, this map here is where I started the trail. You got where it says start up there. You see the Granite Lake at the very top there, Granite Lake Park. That's what you'll see as you're pulling into the parking lot. Now that again, you see that TH up there. That's where the trailhead is. That means trailhead. And then of course you got the bathroom symbol there. So that's where the bathrooms are at also. And there is a shelter with a drink machine there. But also where the trailhead would be is where you'll see these types of posts. Now the big post with the big emblem on top of it, I'm sure it's more expensive emblem, but that right there is what you'll see on some trails. But you'll also will see some type of post. It may be something as small as like a 4x4 into the ground, but it will have a symbol, the Carolina Trail, the Carolina Thread Trail symbol, and then it'll actually will say on the post Carolina Thread Trail. Now that right there indicates that it is the trailhead, and some of these trails can have multiple trailheads, and if you're just entering in certain types of, so again, it's something you want to try to familiarize yourself with the trail before you start it. And then of course down there where it says finish, that's East Bank Street in Granite Quarry. And so again, it's not a long hike, but is a good hike. And these are two parks that have been connected by this trail. You got Granite Lake Park and the Centennial Park trail, and it's just 2 parks that they hook together. Now this does loop around. It isn't where you're going to go up one way and on the exact same trail come back. It kind of circles around where you see all these trees at, and then it comes right back around where this lake would be. If you look where my mouse is right here, it just circles right around. And so let's just say you start up here where the trailhead is. You're just going to follow it, and it's going to come all the way down where the finish is, and it's going to come right around and circle just like that, back up. And then there's little areas with bridges that you can cross over that way. Now this area down here where this P is, on Brown Street, there is another big parking lot, so you can park there also if you want to come in where the finish place is and start there and go all the way down. It doesn't matter, you're still walking the same thing, and so you can start down there. And so either way, it is a very beautiful trail, very nice, and but one of the ones that they do have in Granite Quarry. Okay, this is the parking area at the entrance of Granite Lake Park. They on this day here, the city were working on some drainage areas around the actual pond itself, and just a really beautiful day. This area right here is where you'll see that trailhead. But I had worked all day indoors, and when I got off, I said this is just too pretty to stay inside. So I changed my clothes, came out, and it was a very brisk, cool day. But it was gorgeous, and I knew the next day was going to be rainy, so I wanted to make sure that I got out here. And the ducks were out. Very beautiful outside. There's one of the duckies. And over to the left is where I'm actually going to enter the actual trail. This trail is a big loop, even though now on the map it's not going to say it's a loop. It's just going to say like one way, but it actually does loop around a very narrow loop. And so you could do that, and so but it's very nice. I don't know why they didn't call it a loop again, but beautiful area, nice and flat, pretty much what you're seeing the ground, that's what you're going to see all through it on the trail. They keep it cleared away. There's a little post right there where they tell you about the trees. Wherever that post is, there, that tree that's right behind it, they tell you about the tree. And so that's common, you'll see on a lot of these trails, little educational little things, tidbits, information boards, etc. There's another one right there to the right. Little signs. I couldn't believe how huge these trees were. They were extremely tall, just straight up. It's just amazing just what lies just in our own backyards. We always trying to go elsewhere to go on hiking trips and stuff like that, where, you know, I've noticed on the Carolina Thread Trail just how many trails that's around me that's just waiting to be hiked. And coming up where this little bench is, you'll see little benches around this trail here. This is a little water hole where a stream enters in, and there's hundreds of fish in there, little minnow-sized fish. I tried to catch them, a glimpse of them on the camera, but I just couldn't do it. And here's one of the bridges. Gazebo. Trash can. And the way I'm going right here is East Bank Street. East Bank Street. This would be the finish of the trail. Clean trail, very well taken care of. There were a tree that had fallen down, one of those big trees that I showed you earlier, that had fallen and just uprooted. And within a week, they had it cut up and taken off the trail. And they stay on top of it. There's a little waterfall there, beautiful little waterfall. And here's that little water hole again. You'd be amazed how much fish was in that one area. And of course the dog poop bags, and they encourage you to do it, and they give you plenty good sized bags to do it. I think those bags are big enough that you could pick up a horse's. And there's another one of those little information little boards there, of course, with the emblem of the Carolina Thread Trail is on that too. And I'm coming back out. Going to the left here. I'm pointing right here where I entered in, is down there, and then you can see right there where they were working on that drainage, and that needed it bad there. That would puddle up real bad. So again, it didn't take long till they were already starting to work on it, so got to hand it to them. Now where I'm headed here is there is a playground. Now where you're seeing those cars that is Highway 52. Highway 52. If you go to the right there, you're going to be going towards Salisbury. If you go up to the left, you're going to be going toward Granite Quarry, Rockwell, and then into where Pfeiffer University is, and into Richfield area, Stanley County, Albemarle. I'm coming up on the playground there to the left, and the shelter is straight ahead. Now this is a real safe trail to hike. You can easily hike on it by yourself. They are only open during daylight hours only when it's daylight. But the Granite Quarry Police Department is about, I want to say, a mile from this location, maybe just a hair over a mile. So if you did have an emergency, you could call 911 and you'd have somebody at you within a heartbeat. And so there's the shelter there, got grills, picnic tables, and on the other side of that shelter is the bathrooms. And of course they got the drink machine also. Very well taken care of, very clean. So much different than what it used to be. This is an old abandoned swimming hole. And this parking area here is on Brown Street. This is near the finish area, East Bank Street, if you want to park there and enter the bottom of the trail system. But you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, check out Granite Lake Park Trail and the in Granite Quarry, and I really think that you would find this most enjoyable. And so something you can definitely take your family to and have a picnic. And so you guys take care, and look forward to the next one.